Good morning, everyone. We are here in our unprepared kitchens, getting a little prepared.
Yes,
It's
we
kind of an
are.
oxymoron, but we feel like, I'm sorry, the glare is bad. We feel like life can be so full of things that we're not prepared for. And if we just do a few things um, from our kitchen and my kitchen and Rachel's kitchen to kind of buffer that situation, we feel like it makes our lives a little bit more smooth if that's possible. So that's what we're going to be sharing today. And Rachel, if you want to share what you're up to first, and
Sure.
then I will too.
Yeah, I think part of this, both of us, we each have 4 children. We each live very chaotic lives. And I think our idea of food is that we have to fuel everyone and all the different diets. And both of us have food allergies in our home. And also, food shouldn't be stressful. It shouldn't be like, oh my God, I forgot the cumin, or I don't have a red onion. Like, I can't make this. Like, I'm done. It's over. The world has to end this week. And I don't live like that. And I'm also and I know Leslie is the same way. I'm like, if there is an extra carrot in my kitchen, I will use that damn carrot. Like, it is not going to go to waste. I spend enough money on food. We are using everything that we have. And so I think the recipes that we've come up with that we use every week in our homes to feed everybody can be changed. Like, oh my God, I don't have brown rice. That's great. Use wild rice. Like, I don't really care. It doesn't matter. Like, you have an extra carrot, toss it in. Like, the worst that's going to happen is it's going to, be a little thicker. Like, that's fine. So that's the idea. That's where this is coming from. So today we each have a few things that we're going to be doing. I'm doing a pumpkin soup. I'm going to walk through. I have some little party balls that actually my boys made yesterday, but I'm going to just talk about them a little bit and how you can just do them for however they work for you and your family. And then I have my favorite, which is random things in a bowl. And that came from my boys really just saying to me every flipping day, what's for dinner? What's for dinner? What's for dinner? And I finally just said, like, we're just gonna have random things in a bowl. And now they know what that means. So those are the things that I'm working on. Leslie, do you want to share what you're working on? And then we will get.
Yeah. Yep. Ooh, there you are. You froze for a second. It's funny because I have to modify the party balls slightly, which I'm going to do today, because Sam is allergic to bananas. So and that's something too, like if you see something on the recipes that we share and you want us to give you some suggestions on what you can do for the allergies you have in your house, just let us know and we're happy to help. Hi, Tracy. We in my kitchen today, I'm going to really be doing a couple of the things. So she's doing the one she mentioned. I'm going to be doing the Big Mac salad, and I'm going to be layering them in mason jars. I used to really have a problem with Big Macs when I was a teenager. And I have made them. I really love that taste, like the combination of the dressing and the pickles and the onions and the burger. So why can't we make it into a salad? Like there's nothing unhealthy about that at all. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be preparing the egg roll in a bowl. We love egg rolls, and it's a really easy thing to prepare ahead and then have at another time and heat it up because Chinese food's always better reheated. And then I'm only just making the meat for the sweet potato and sloppy joes. So I don't use bread when I make sloppy joes. Some of my kids want like an English muffin or something like that, which is fine. But I'm going to prepare that ahead and I'm going to freeze that because then another evening I can say, all right, we have that. I'm going to take that out and I'm going to thaw it. And that's what I'm doing today. It's a lot.
I think that's great. And I think that especially since we don't have people necessarily in their kitchen on right now. And
Right.
All of you that I know that are going to be watching the recording may not be literally in their kitchens watching the recording.
Right.
So I think it might be best for us to walk through as Leslie and I are making this. What we're going to be doing is talking about some of the things that we do to make it easier and some of the products. So like, okay,
Right.
for example, I'll start with the pumpkin soup. This is one that I freeze always. I have my bone broth. I have my beans. I have a can of pumpkin. I have my garlic. It's pretty easy. I don't know if you guys use ghee, but if you don't, you should. We don't do a lot of dairy in our house just because of allergies and eczema. And honestly, it just clogs our noses in the middle of winter, which is the opposite of what I want with all these flipping kids in the house is more stuffy noses. So Ghee is a way, it's clarified butter, so it's produced differently, and it has the same good fat that you need, but it doesn't have the bad fat that comes with the actual thick butter. So I will show you mine. I get mine on Thrive Market. I don't know if anyone shops on Thrive Market, but it's amazing. Yep, that's the other one. So good. And I use probably a deathly amount of it because it's so rich and amazing that it's so yummy. So I don't really even measure. My girlfriends hate me for not measuring, but I don't measure. So I will put about this much, maybe like a tablespoon-ish, into my pot. I put my cut up onions, my carrots. I do my spices right away so that they can kind of like melt in, and you can really get the health benefits of the turmeric and the cumin. I leave the salt for at the end, but the other spices I put in right away. And I sort of saute that down. So I'm going to start doing that. And meanwhile, at the same time, I'm going to start doing some of the things for my random things in a bowl. So that one, thank you, Kate. Go get your workout in. For random things in a bowl, I can walk you through that, but at the same time I'm doing the soup, I'm just going to start some brown rice. So that's what I'm going to be popping onto right now. And I'll let Leslie take it over and tell you what she's up to right now.
I'm actually just starting to layer my Big Mac salads. I made Thousand Island dressing because I don't have any in the house, and I wasn't going to just buy a jar for no reason. When I have mayonnaise, I have ketchup and I have relish. So I mix that together and I'm just layering that on the bottom of the jars. And then all you need to do is, like, if you're not prepared to do this, like if you're unprepared, you just need to add, you can make the meat ahead. Hey, Lisa, you can make the meat ahead, and then you can put these together whenever you have time throughout the day. Even if you can only make one or two, like you can make that, or if you're just making one in a bowl, like you don't have to do them in mason jars. So that's what I'm doing right now. I have everything cut up, which is difficult to see from where you are. Let's see if, all the little ingredients.
My husband is so excited to try this. I've never done this Big Mac salad, but I am very excited to do that. So I'm going to follow along and make this one with you.
Yeah. And even if you don't do it in the jars, like you can just do it like your random things in a bowl, like have a Big Mac salad buffet.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Do that instead. If you want to just have everybody eat it that night, like just have them put it together themselves.
Hey, Leslie.
Yes.
Do you have any substitutes for mayonnaise?
I don't offhand. Do you have a problem with any of the ingredients in mayonnaise, or you want to?
No, I love mayonnaise so much. I just feel like it doesn't love me.
Okay. Have you tried the avocado?
I use
avocado mayonnaise.
Yeah, I use avocado mayonnaise or vegan.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. I don't use regular mayonnaise either. And it's because I agree, we can't really do that in our household. That doesn't really do well with us either. But
yeah, and it has eggs and soy.
Yeah.
I use organic. So that's just one thing I do. Like if I'm having something that has soybean in it, I definitely always look for organic. But if you don't want mayonnaise, I totally blanked on that, but you definitely could use veganese. Yeah. I totally couldn't think of it.
Yeah. And I actually have a recipe. It's not in this grouping, but Kate, if you ever want it of homemade, and it's really easy to make. So I'd be happy to share that. Yeah, I'd be happy to share that with you too.
Yeah, that's a nice tidbit too. Yeah. The other thing I did ahead of time is I made the ground beef. No, I did not grind beef. I browned the beef ahead of time for the egg roll in a bowl. So that's sitting there cooling. The beef was already cooling for the Big Mac salad. And then people think that we are very strange here, but we do not have a microwave. So the sweet potatoes, I think in one of the recipes, it says you can microwave the sweet potatoes. Yeah. So if you don't have a microwave, or you don't have, if you don't want to do that, if you want to cook it, just do that ahead of time too. And then you can reheat it in the oven or in your microwave if you have one.
Yep. I kind of love that you don't have a microwave, but I think my husband would die. So
when we redid our kitchen, I was like, I don't think we need it. And we've been fine.
That's insane. So I have a couple things in for, like I said, for the pumpkin chili. And I just so happened to talking about sweet potatoes. I just happen to have like one random sweet potato that we used a couple nights ago, like 2 nights ago for dinner. So it's already cooked.
Correct.
And I think one of the most important things when we're talking about having an unprepared, prepared kitchen is using the things in your fridge. So we all spend a lot of money on food, right? It just is what it is for our families, and to eat healthy. Unfortunately, that's the way that our society is. If you're going to eat healthy, it's going to cost you a little bit more. It'll cost later, or it'll cost less later when you don't have to, go to the doctor so often. But
Yeah.
Right now, like I said earlier, I am big on using what we have in our kitchen. So even if this sweet potato soup did not call, or sorry, pumpkin soup did not call for a sweet potato, I probably would have just looked in there and been like, you know what, this is going to go bad in a couple days if I don't use it right now, and nobody's home all day but me, and I'm having a salad for lunch. So I'm just going to toss this thing right in there.
Right.
Okay. So just be okay experimenting a little bit with what you already have in your home. Another example of that is the pumpkin chili recipe technically calls for vegetable broth and bone broth. And I do love both of those things together because, for one, bone broth is more expensive, but you also get the benefits. You don't have to use the entire can of this or box or whatever it is to get the health benefits from it. But I think it's valuable. Like for me, I accidentally used all of my vegetable broth yesterday when I made squash soup. So I'm going to add a cup of this instead of a half a cup and do water for the other half, right? So be okay shifting that around. If you're a vegetarian or vegan, don't use bone broth. You can use vegetable broth and water, right? Beef bone broth is just the same. Turkey bone broth is just the same as chicken. So be okay making those choices and look for things that are on sale, because that helps me a lot to make my decisions when I'm cooking.
Totally. And then when you keep those random ingredients, you can make sure that you have options. Like, I mean, we have 4 kids, so sometimes I make something for dinner and they won't eat it. Like I could say, like, this is what we're eating. And so if there's something else that we didn't finish from the night before or lunch the day before, then I'm like, then that's what you can have. I'm pointing to my fridge. Here you are, children. Not towards the pantry, which is behind my computer, to get a snack while we're eating dinner, because that's just rude and I don't like that. I mean, I don't know.
I totally agree. I have I think it's at 3:30, my kitchen closes. Like everyone gets home from school and they have 45 minutes to get their snack and to sit down with their homework. And then at 3:45, they all know the kitchen closes because we eat dinner at 5:30. So if they get their snacks and it's 4:30, I'm just sitting there stewing in annoyance that I know they're going to eat their popcorn and like whatever without eating my dinner. So that is how I manage that. Okay.
I like to put my 2 cents in on that.
Yeah.
That my children, I mean, they will eat all day long, and I find that I'm overwhelmed when I'm not productive in the kitchen. If you want something, get it yourself. Otherwise, I say, no, the kitchen is closed at this time and this time. And if they want to retrieve something, it's an apple off the table. But I find it to be really overwhelming when they have breakfast on let's say breakfast starts at 7:30 and they're still eating at 9 o'clock, because then it turns into, did you eat at 8:30 or did you eat at 9 o'clock? So are you hungry at 10 or are you hungry at, and then I feel like it's like an all day thing. So it's nice to hear that I'm not the only one closing shit down.
Oh my God, Lisa, for sure not. And that brings up a good point. And I think, Lisa, even your boys are almost to the age where I think I started doing this, is I actually have a sign on the inside door of our pantry, and it's listed with, it says protein, fruit, vegetable, fat, carbohydrate. And I have lists of things underneath those, whether it's apples or popcorn or a turkey stick or whatever they are under those categories. And I tell them that they can have one healthy snack and one not healthy snack. On the nights when all my bigger boys have big sports, I'm like, you need to have a healthy carbohydrate and a protein when you get home. So they go into those lists on their own, even my 5-year-old, and they start to make decisions for themselves based on what their body needs at that time, as long as they're under those certain lists. Because I agree, Lisa, there is no way on God's green earth I am managing my kitchen for 4 teenagers in a couple of years. And Leslie, you're probably in this.
Yeah. And the one thing is, if I do have like cut up vegetables or cut up fruit, we've been avoiding fruit just because, of course, my son can't have most fruits on earth right now, due to his allergy. So, but I can put a tray of vegetables out and they will come over and they will eat it. If it's not on the counter, they will not go in the fridge and get vegetables. Like, so that's something that really is helpful. I was trying to remember what I was thinking. Oh, the rainbow chart in the portion fix materials. So if some of you aren't familiar that are watching this or that are here, some of us follow a nutrition program called Portion Fix, and they have a part of it called Family Fix. My little ones love the rainbow chart. It is a literal sheet of paper that we put on the fridge either for the week or I was going to get it laminated because they just draw all over it because they think it's super fun to check everything off. But it has like, how much water should my 8-year-old daughter be having? How many vegetables should my 6-year-old son be having? Not that my 16-year-old daughter cares how many vegetables she's having right now, but she could look at it and find out. So it says like,
well, and not only that, Leslie, but then, yeah, I mean, not only that, but I think about what happens when they're 25.
Right.
And they're all of a
they have
sudden
no
like,
idea.
oh my God, like I want to take care of myself. I remember, like, I want to feel good in my life. I need more energy now that I'm out in the world. They will have the tools that you've set them up with in order to be able to do that. And I think that that is really, really powerful, that what we're teaching ourselves right now is going to be what they know in their futures.
Yeah. And it took me way too long to figure that out for myself. So I don't want them to have to think about that.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of had the opposite. My mother was always really into health and fitness before it was a thing. And
nice.
I'm really grateful for that. And so she had the list of food inside the pantry door. And so I was able to learn from her. And I just feel like it's my job to pay that forward.
Oh,
so
I just got these.
Grateful. Yeah. And she's going to be listening to the recording since she's on
Oh,
yay. Okay.
I love it.
Okay. So I have moved on to random things in a bowl.
Nice.
And I think that this is an important one, a good segue for us to talk about, because it is literally just taking 1 hour of your day. I'm preparing one dinner, but it's really easy for me to take 2 cups of rice and some bone broth or some water and put that on the stovetop right next to it. And that is the base for our random things in a bowl. I don't care if you're going to be the one eating the rice, or if your kids are, or if your husband is. And if you have brown rice pasta instead of brown rice, great, use that. That's fine. So the other thing that I do on for random things in a bowl is I chop up, and I did this yesterday because I was in my kitchen already. So I just grabbed a bunch of veggies and I chopped them up. So these are beets and cauliflower, and I need 17 to feed my children, but that's fine. And so I chop them all up. So all I have to do, you have 2 options. Sometimes if I'm really busy, I put them in the oven right away when I have time, and I just reheat them in the oven. Okay. So 425, a little bit, I use coconut oil spray actually, because that gets them a little crispier and less like oily. And then I use my favorite spices of all time are cinnamon, turmeric, and sea salt. I use them probably 3 or 4 times a week. They have different antibacterial properties. If you have stuffy noses and sore throats, that's what the cinnamon is there for. Pink Himalayan sea salt. Use the pink stuff. The only reason our salt is white is because it has chemicals in it. Okay. It's supposed to be pink, but people thought it was weird. Thank you, Leslie. Use it. I get it on Thrive Market. You can get it on bulk on Amazon. It's really easy to find if you know what you're looking for. Okay. So, but today I have more time this afternoon. So at least I have these chopped, and then I can throw them in the oven later today. I happen to have 2 or 3 hard-boiled eggs left over from last week. I'll throw those out as an option. I did a bunch of crock pot chicken just with sea salt and some bone broth yesterday. That's it. I keep this all week. And here's how I set up random things in a bowl. I tell my kids, here's the protein line, whether it's cottage cheese, eggs, chicken, roasted chickpeas. They can choose from one of those, at least one. They have to choose 2 different vegetables. Maybe that's a leftover sweet potato, peas. Sometimes, like right now, I have snap peas in the fridge, so I'll throw those out there. They have to pick 2. They can pick a grain, which is going to be brown rice this week. Some weeks it's a piece of toast when I'm busy. Some weeks it's brown rice pasta. And then they can pick a fat. Actually, the kids can pick as many fats as they want. I don't care. It's because it's avocado, it's nuts on top, it's homemade dressing or whatever that is. And they just go down the line. And what my children love about that is that it gives them the power of their food, right? I don't care if your kids are 5 or 18 or whatever. They want to have the power over their food. That's why they fight us so much about it. So if they can choose with those guidelines, that's all they got. And then for our food allergies in both of our homes, that makes a massive difference. For my husband, who probably needs more grains than I do at the end of the day, he can choose that. I don't have to. It makes it so easy to feed a large family.
And I feel like that helps too for picky eaters. You know, when they don't have a choice, I've seen the most resistance. Like if I'm just like, we're having chicken parm tonight, and that's what we're eating. And my 2 children don't like chicken. So they sit and they're upset the whole entire dinner. Now I can't make substitutions every single night, but a night like the random things in a bowl makes it kind of less stressful because you don't have to have that situation. Not that we're providing that situation every night because that's not life. But I feel like it makes it less stressful, and that's helpful.
Okay, so Leslie, what else are you working on right now?
Yeah, so I finished all my layering. I didn't have giant mason jars. So
Can you show me what it looks? Yeah, I want to see what it looks like. Okay.
So I didn't have giant mason jars. You put the dressing on the bottom, you put the beef, then the onions and the tomatoes, and then the pickles, and then obviously there is no more room. So what I'm gonna do is just put all the lettuce chopped up into a bag. And when I'm gonna eat it, I'll dump that with some lettuce into a bowl. This is for me. Nobody else is gonna eat this. They're gonna look in the fridge and be like, "What is that?"
It looks
but
so
I like
good.
Big Macs, so
It looks so good. I can't wait to try that.
The next thing I'm gonna do are we call them the energy balls, but Rachel made party balls, and I like how she added the sprinkles in it because then that's a different variation for the kids and it's fun. Like this one, my daughter actually found this recipe. She's 13. She found a recipe and she makes it a lot. And then sometimes I make it because she's like, I don't feel like making it, and that's fine. It's something for our whole family, and it makes 24 balls. And I actually have used it for run fuel. My kids use it like as a snack or even as a lunch. Like they'll have it as their lunch with fruit. So it's very versatile. One tip I wanted to give about my kitchen is I've had this container of oats for, maybe 4 years. This cardboard container. And we get the oats from Costco, and I just keep adding it in here because I feel like this is just easier to deal with. So I'm going to be transferring that in because it's time to put more in here. Just stuff like that. Like if I had bought this every time, it would be way more expensive. So with all the people we have in here, and other things that we make like overnight oats or oatmeal or like oatmeal bakes, we definitely need a large quantity of oats in our house, and I'm fine with that.
I agree. We get those same oats at Costco, and I have glass jars everywhere because I really like my pantry to look, I really like my pantry to look pretty. Because it makes me want to be in here. So I invested, God, years ago. Some of them are from garage sales, some of them are from Target, some of them are from secondhand stores, and I just have like a plethora of different sizes of glass jars. And I put all my, oats, chocolate chips, nutritional yeast, hemp seeds, like everything goes in there. The other thing that I think is really cool that I know are in more places than just Minnesota, but co-ops. So
yes,
you can research a local co-op and you can get this stuff in bulk, and then it's cheaper. It's way happier to our environment. And that's another great way to get your kids involved, because kids love to go and sit and find the dark chocolate covered pretzels in the thing and scoop them into their containers all themselves. So you can get your family involved in normalizing how we shop in the grocery store. And one of those ways that I do that and save a lot of money is shopping the bulk section at a local co-op. So Leslie, other places, I can't be the only place that has good co-ops, right?
No, we have great co-ops. It's a lot of them there's one like specific place, it's called Weaver's Way around us. But other than that, there's a lot of different farms that have done just for specifically for like vegetables and eggs and meat and things like that. But the dry products, we really have like one around here that I've seen, but I haven't researched. But that is a good thing to think about, like, especially if you're looking for all of these items in bulk like we are. And we can't always be supporting Costco, right? Why not support something local? The next thing I'm working on is the balls, but also in conjunction, I'm doing the egg roll in a bowl. I just wanted to share what ingredients I use for that, just so that if you have any deviations. I really don't like chopping garlic. So I have this.
Me too. Oh, I don't chop
Okay.
garlic either. I get the Costco, my husband gets the Costco garlic.
Yeah.
So our garlic's like that big.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
So I just have
enormous.
right now, I just have this squeezy one. I do like mincing ginger, but I don't have any right now. So when I don't have any, or it's become shriveled in the in the fridge, like, I don't know if you have that problem sometimes. I find a shriveled piece of ginger. I have this ginger paste, so that if I need a portion of ginger, I can just put it in whatever I'm making. And today the egg roll in a bowl calls for that. I'm using broccoli slaw for my egg roll in the bowl. You don't have to use coleslaw. You can use whatever slawed vegetables you want. Cut up vegetables slawed. I don't know why it's called slaw. Does anybody know? I don't know what
No idea, but I only get broccoli slaw too.
Okay.
And I really want
Yeah.
to make this. Everyone was very excited about this recipe in my house. So
So I already made the beef. That's all, that's
Okay.
cooled down. And then you just transfer the beef out and you put everything else in there, heat it up, and then put it together. And I'm just gonna put it in a container and heat it up later.
Do your kids like it?
My husband likes it, and my
Okay.
one daughter likes it.
Okay. Okay.
So that'll be like a night where maybe the other kids are doing something and that's what we eat.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of those nights right now. I don't know about you guys, but either two of us have an activity or one of us has something and half of us aren't home. And so that makes, and then, my older kids have dinner out sometimes with their friends.
Yeah. I think that that's a good reminder to have, like, we both have our versions of the protein ball, the party ball. There are so many variations of those out there, but those are really easy things to have on hand.
Yeah.
For when your kids come home from all the things. And me, like, if I come home at 8 o'clock at night, I'm like, oh my God, I ate dinner at 4:30 and I need something else so that I don't wake up with a headache in the middle of the night, or I'm ready for my workout in the morning, or whatever it is. That those are so easy. I mean, I make them and I don't have 24 hours with them. Like, I should really like triple them, but mine are gone in 24 hours.
Yeah. Ours are pretty much gone. If the kids are all made aware of them.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I'm like, don't tell him. He doesn't have sports. He can have the next batch tomorrow. But also my kids are getting to the age where, like, they actually come home from their sports and like, Mom, can I make protein balls? I'm like, absolutely. And they usually use Recover because one of my boys loves the taste of that better than the Shakeology. So I'm like, fine, whatever. Like the vegan Recover in chocolate, and he will make that himself. And it is the best source of literally Recover for their little muscles and all the things that they need from all the sports that they do. I think it's really powerful to teach them to do that when they come home themselves.
Yeah. And my daughter, who's 13, she's still recovering from knee surgery, and she is, we're trying to make sure she gets all the nutrients she needs, and she loves Shakeology. So my other kids do not love Shakeology except for my younger daughter. And that's fine. So you have to find different ways. And I love that we can have those, the Recover or the Shakeology as an option for the kids, because why not? And some people, I don't know, Rachel's over there at the oven, but I don't know. I think you add Shakeology to the party balls. Yeah. So that's
sorry, I was muted.
You're
yes,
good.
I do. I absolutely do. And that's sort of my stipulation with my kids, honestly. Like, they can go ahead and make any kind of, peanut butter, banana, chocolate chip situation that they want at nighttime.
Yeah.
But if they're coming home from a sport, they need to add Shakeology. We call it our superfood. So like, they need to add some sort of superfood with them. And
Yeah.
here's the thing is like, just like we educate ourselves on why, I educate them on why. Like, look at all the vitamins that are in here. Look, you want to be an athlete, you want to have energy tomorrow morning to do well on that test, just like I need energy to go through my day and all the work that we do. We need to learn about why, because then it doesn't become something like a good food or a bad food. It becomes just our fuel, and we can make those choices based on how we want to fuel our bodies. And then our kids understand, hopefully, when they become older, then they can understand why they're fueling them. So like all my kids will read the ingredients and they know what vitamin D does, and they know what vitamin K is doing for them. And so I think that's for me, that's the really powerful part of what we're doing.
Completely. I totally agree. Anybody?
I am simmering my soup right now, and I have my rice going. So those two things feel very productive to me. And like I'm making good progress here. And I'm going to start on one of Leslie's things. And in the meantime, I just maybe Leslie and I can both walk through a couple like food items, not a couple, I have a long list, but some food items and pantry staples. I know that some of you that are on here and some of you that want to listen to the recording, we're really interested in what staples we have in our kitchen, so that when we create things like random things in a bowl, or let's say you have coleslaw and not broccoli slaw for the egg rolls and things like that, that you can really just make sure you have certain things in your kitchen and you're set up for success without having to plan 5 meals every week. So some of the things that I have, I'm going to list them off, but we also have documentation of all this that we're happy to send to whoever wants them. Pink Himalayan sea salt that we spoke about. Use cinnamon, turmeric, ginger, whether it's, I was going to say live, not alive, fresh or in your pantry. Yeah, alive ginger. Apple cider vinegar. That is, I don't know how many, like I take it every day because I have acid reflux and some gut issues, and that really has helped me forever. I take it with a straw so it doesn't affect my teeth. I've been doing it for years. But also anytime my kids are not feeling well, when they have a stuffy nose, sore throat, I give them a shot of apple cider vinegar with honey and lemon. It is literally, and I tell them this, I'm like, it might, feel like a little bit of burning going down your throat. That is killing all of the germs in your throat. Apple cider vinegar has antibacterial properties. You can use it for cleaning too, but that's a whole different conversation of fun. Okay, apple cider vinegar. Always get the Bragg's because it has that sort of like gooiness at the bottom, and that's the magic. Balsamic vinegar, coconut oil, which I use on my body, on my face, and for my kids, and in my food. Olive oil, which I also use as my lotion every night before bed. Lemons, always have lemons. Sweet potatoes, brown rice. We always have fresh greens, always. It's usually seasonal for us. And since I'm in Minnesota, our, summer season is quite small. So during the summer, it's always kale from the garden, romaine, arugula. And then in the winter, we sort of shift over to, we keep kale around, but it's spinach, chard, sort of those like heavier, darker greens for the winter. They always have frozen meat, whether it's chicken or turkey. We don't really do red meat in our house, but those two for sure. Always have always have beans on hand. Those are the easiest thing to add to, you're making a quesadilla, throw some black beans in. There you go. Get some protein, get some good carbs. Chickpeas, so easy to roast up. They take 40 minutes. Roast them, snacks on top of a salad, on top of your rice, whatever. We always have frozen peas. Sometimes we're using them to help aid ailments, right? A bag of frozen peas, but oftentimes that's like the easiest snack for my kids. It has tons of fiber in it, good protein, good carbohydrates. Always bananas. I feel like that's a staple in everybody's home, but I don't know why my kids are obsessed with bananas lately. And they're easy to freeze. If they go bad, freeze them, make some banana bread. Garlic. I always have dark chocolate chips in my house. They're usually the vegan dark chocolate, and I eat them every day. Okay. Gluten-free oats. Gluten-free oats we keep in our house. Leslie was talking about those from Costco, and they're really easy. Sometimes even like, I don't know, when my husband's out of town and I don't have anything for dinner, we will have oatmeal. We put some turmeric on it, some cinnamon, especially in the dead of winter, and it's amazing. Nutritional yeast is another one that I keep in my house. I buy it in bulk. I feel like the bulk is less harsh. And Leslie, I don't know if you use nutritional yeast in your house.
We do not for a lot of things that are
Yeah.
mixed with the kids, but yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've started using it on like, I'll just sprinkle a little bit if I'm doing like last night we did roasted potatoes.
Yeah.
So I'll just, with my sea salt, I'll just sprinkle a little bit on there.
And it's not noticeable. Yeah.
It's not noticeable. It has a ton of amino acids in it.
Yeah.
And it is massively healthy for like cleaning out, right? Like releasing toxins and things like that.
I used to put it in Isabella, like when Isabella and the kids were all babies, I would put it in their baby food.
Yes, 100%.
They had no idea.
Some brands have a more harsh taste. So one of my girlfriends is like, Rachel, that's disgusting. I'm like, well, you're just using the wrong kind. I'm so sorry. So you need to use the right kind. Like I said, I get mine in bulk, but there is another one. I think it's Bragg's actually, because it's the same as the apple cider vinegar. So Bragg's nutritional yeast comes in like a shaker almost. I think you can get it at Target. Definitely try that. It's supposed to be a replacement for cheese. Like, so vegans use it a lot because it has a lot of B vitamins too, which you only get from meat, right? So if you're not going to be heavy on meat 1 week or whatever, and you need those extra B vitamins, you can get that from nutritional yeast. Hemp seeds. My kids are obsessed with them. I'm not sure why. They are great. They are the single, yes, just like those. You get them at Costco too. They are the one source of non-meat where you get every amino acid. So like honestly, it's replacement for red meat. And you can have a couple tablespoons. It's really, really good and high, good, healthy fat and protein. I put it on oatmeal, but I have put it on salads and things like that before. Shakeology, collagen, which you guys both know, or you guys all know, and ground flaxseed, brown rice pasta. That's my list.
I think our lists are quite similar. So
I agree.
I think one of the couple things we have Manuka honey. That's one thing that we have. I don't put it in recipes, but we have it in tea. Again, my 13-year-old daughter, she seems to be my most adventurous. She loves to have that in her tea. It is something we give the kids if they have coughs, if anyone's ill or feeling like they are starting to get sick, and this is pre-COVID stuff. So it's, I'm trying to think of anything else besides, I mean, I have the ginger paste that I talked about and the garlic, minced garlic. Something else that we keep, I think of anything else you didn't mention, because I think we have like all the same things. We just try to keep something in the freezer. Like if I have some kind of meal in the freezer, like right now I have a meatloaf that I already made, like a healthy meatloaf. So if I need to have a dinner, I will pop that out. So something that you can just unfreeze and put in the oven if you're having a day where you just don't feel like cooking. I feel like that's really important. And then I always have salad. Like she said, she always has greens. Like I always have salad, because whatever we eat, whatever protein I could just throw protein up of a salad. We have tempeh. I have that as like a vegan option for myself, and nobody else likes it. That's just my replacement.
Can you tell me how, like I used to eat tempeh, and I don't know why I don't anymore, but I feel like it was because I didn't know how to cook with it.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna get it out so I can show anybody that doesn't know what it looks like. I used to think, so it's like it's basically like tofu, but like in a fermented form. And it almost looks like ground beef, if you would think about like the texture of beef. The Ultimate Reset, which I did in the last winter, had so many amazing recipes, and I had never tried baking with it. One of the most delicious recipes was apple cider vinegar with maple syrup, and you kind of marinate it over like for a couple hours, and then you bake it with that. And my goodness, it was, and it's not like you're dousing it with maple syrup, you're just adding a little bit of sweetness like honey or whatnot. That was amazing. And that was like paired with beets. It was, and collard greens. It's like beets, collard greens, and that was like such a good meal. So there's all different kinds of ways to bake it, but I feel like that was the best way. Most of the time I just have it cut up in like a crazy salad that has fruit and apple cider vinegar. I try to make my own dressings with apple cider vinegar. So other staples would be sesame seed oil. That's a great one to have, an oil to have on hand, just to get a variety of the different healthy fats so that you're not just having olive oil. Like olive oil is great. But I think it's fun to mix it up too, especially if you're making egg roll in a bowl and you need sesame seed oil. So yeah, other than that, my staples are literally the same as Rachel's. Literally.
Which is a good sign, because then not either of us are just crazy on our own. We're like, actually, like we actually stand behind these things because they work.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit, and maybe Leslie, if you want to talk about some of the tools in our kitchen that I know, yes, obviously it's great to have a nice blender. Like we all need that. But like, what are some of the other tools that your prepared kitchen uses?
Yeah, I think it's mostly the containers. I feel like I would like, actually, we need to table that for the next time we do something, is pantry organization. I definitely don't use them for that, which I should. I use them more for, like I have every size glass dish that you could imagine, and they're all over the place, and I use them constantly. I reheat in them. I have them in the fridge. I have them in the freezer. Same thing as like the big mason jars that she uses for all her products. I use silicone baking sheets. Sorry, I should have had them out. I don't know where they are. I have no idea. My daughter put everything away, which is helpful, but I don't know where they are.
I agree though. I use my baking sheets, like they literally will sit in the drying rack and I just reuse them every day.
I don't know where they are.
Around and around.
But they have been the most helpful things to me because I make muffins all the time. I make carrot muffins all the time. Oh, thanks, Lisa. Lisa said, thanks for looking forward to the recipes. Yes, we are too. I think that the muffins, like that's been on some of our meal prepping parties before. They're amazing. Some can be frozen, some aren't good frozen. Like my carrot muffins taste horrible if I freeze them. They taste like mush and I don't want to eat them. So you definitely have to know which ones to freeze and which ones to not freeze. But I love that baking sheet. Other than that, oh, this is like funny. If I'm doing meal prepping or freezer meals, this is a little baggy holder that I have, and it seems very weird and not useful, but I don't have to touch, like it extends and you can put like a lard bag in it. And I'm like, you know, if you're putting chicken or things that are raw and you don't want to keep touching the bag and wiping the bag, I don't know if you're like me, but I don't want to have like goop all over my bags. You just put this with the bag and you're ready to go. That's like a weird little thing. I have an immersion blender, which is great. That's really helpful if you're making soups and you don't want them to be chunky. I do have a Vitamix. I have a air fryer. Yeah, and again, we don't have a microwave, so I don't know. We just use the oven.
I think the air fryer is like, I know it's like a new thing. I have one too, and I like it a lot. I will say that when I'm cooking for like my entire family, I can't, even though I have the biggest one, I still can't fit what I need in there. So I'm still using my oven, I have a double oven. So my double oven and my air fryer at the same time to like make sweet potato fries or whatever it is, or make chicken. So one thing that we found that we like in there is if my husband isn't grilling outside, he's the griller. I am not the griller. I would, but he just likes to grill. So
he'll do grilling, but if he doesn't feel like grilling or the weather's bad or whatever, steaks and anything that we would grill are delicious in there. Like he was
Oh my God, I've
shocked
never
because
done that.
he's very particular about how his steak is cooked, and which is funny, but he really thought it was delicious in there. And I keep pointing at it because it's right.
Just right off the side of the screen.
Right there.
Yes. Okay. Okay, we have a few minutes. I don't know if we want to, I mean, Leslie, do you want to go through any of your other things? Otherwise, maybe we can stop the recording and see if anyone has any questions.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I have,
Okay.
I mean, I think I talked about all the things we have.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of the Big Mac salad right now.
The one pot that I really like, I don't know, like if you guys have pots that you enjoy to cook with. But if you don't have one of these, I'm gonna bring it closer, sorry. If you don't have one of these to steam or for pasta
Yes.
or whatever, like this is like,
I think I have the
can
same one.
make giant quantities of steamed vegetables.
Yeah. And sometimes I use it for like, I don't even use it to steam vegetables. I just use the bottom part for whatever I need it for, you know? So I think that's huge.
Yeah. I can stop the recording. Thank you all.